everybody, Aubrey here, and today's topic is I want to talk to you guys about how to prepare yourself for the next time we have a disaster. So what this video is about is preparing yourself for the next disaster of any type of emergency that we have and what you need to do to prepare yourself for the next time and what you have to have on hand just to keep for that year, or if any type of disaster does happen. This could be earthquake disaster, neighborhood power outages, hurricanes, tornadoes, and major illness viruses like what we're having right now. Now I know we don't have we don't have hurricanes out here because we're not in Florida, but this applies to everything and all around the world is what this video applies to, regardless if there is hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes. It doesn't really matter because we don't know what's to come, what's going to happen in the future, what's to come for all of us. So we just have to make sure that we are prepared and that we have the necessary things we need and we're not waiting the last minute to get the stuff we need. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start off by first going ahead and doing a video of all the cool items that you actually need for a disaster. All right, guys? So let's go ahead and start off with number one. So number one is supplies. You need supplies such as toilet paper, paper towels, excuse me, guys. Toilet paper, paper towels, any excuse me, any type of other supplies like pencils, paper, crayons, booklets, or anything like that for the kids. Make sure you have certain supplies like that, and that's very, very important for a disaster, is to collect paper towels, toilet tissue, and all the things that you need, canned goods, water, batteries, first aid kit, and your medicine. So those are all the supplies that you need to make sure you have during a disaster. Number two, food. Food is another very important essential that we all need for survival. But what I would like to recommend is the type of food we need to have are more reasonable or canned good foods. Just make sure that you do collect a can opener. Make sure you have a can opener, handheld can opener. You have to have your type of canned meats like the Spam or the tuna and everything. So it's very important that we have food, canned goods. There's also foods that are dry foods that can be stored for about a year. Get dry foods and have that on hand. And canned goods are very, very important. I know a lot of people out there are against canned good foods, and it's not healthy, it's not good. But right now, if there's a disaster, a major disaster, you don't really have a choice but to have canned goods. So always make sure you collect canned vegetables, canned beans, meats that are canned, any type of canned foods that will last up to a year to a couple of months, or probably I think about a year. A lot of canned goods last for about a year. Collect your canned goods because that's a good source of the type of food that we need to collect during any type of disaster. Another thing that you need to have is milk. That is more reasonable would be the powdered milk. If you need to have milk, get powdered milk. Of course, you can't have regular milk because that's going to spoil. Get powdered milk. They do sell powdered milk in all the stores. I don't know which stores, but they have them somewhere. It's called powdered milk. So just make sure you have that. Okay, number three, water. Water is very important to have during a disaster. Make sure you have your water. Get lots of water, cases of water especially, and have those on hand. Have them actually in a storage, in your closet, your garage. Always have an emergency thing of water. Water does not spoil. It's water. So water doesn't go bad. But always have an emergency thing of water, and also another source of water if there was an emergency and you couldn't get to any water. And there is always your faucet, and you know, that's also so water. If you don't really want to use faucet tap water, you boil it in the pot. I learned this from my family and a good friend of mine. You boil it in the pot, and that's considered purified water. So you have your water. But if the water was turned off and you had no source of water, that's where the water bottles come in. So that's why it's so important to have water bottles on hand, in stock, in your garage, your closet, and get cases and cases of it, because you have to remember, water doesn't spoil. Water can last forever. Number 4 is electronics. Your electronics are also important, and it's very important to have electronics like your battery packs. There's battery packs that are the ones that you can charge different things. Also, especially in a power outage, if you have a power outage, and I guess it's the power generators. You can have a power generator, the one that you can charge over, I guess, a week. Some of them are weekly charges, and they charge forever. You don't have to charge them up again in the plug. But battery chargers and emergency power generators are very good to have on hand in an emergency disaster if you get a power outage or if the lights cut off. That is very important. Another thing is, I've already mentioned it in a part of electronics, is called a power generator. I already mentioned that earlier. Power generators, I don't know if some of you guys know what that is. I'm sure you guys do. The power generator is very, very good to have as a backup. If you have to charge anything, because you can't, if the power goes out, that power generator is so handy, and it comes in handy because you can plug up certain things. If you want to plug up your TV, if you want to plug up especially your refrigerator, because you don't know how long the power outage is going to go for, and you're stuck with having your power out overnight and your food spoils in the refrigerator, and you don't want that. You want to prepare yourself and purchase a power generator. I don't think they cost very much. I would say they'll probably be between like $500 to $1,000, depending on which power generator you purchase. But with me, I'm very budget friendly. I don't like to spend too much money on power generators, but if I have to in an emergency disaster, I will spend that kind of money to make sure that I'm safe at home and I have power if I have to get any power or anything. But yeah, a power generator is very handy if you need to plug anything in for a lamp or a light, so you can have lights. So that's also good to have a power generator. But make sure you get a good power generator. If you ever need help on finding a good power generator, go online, do some research about finding a really, really good power generator that will last a very long time during a charge. Okay, number 6, clothes. Make sure during a disaster, if you have to evacuate your home, make sure you have clothes packed. That is very important to have. Your pants, your shoes, your children's clothes, socks, and your undergarments and everything. Make sure you have an emergency suitcase or anything that you have to take with you during an emergency, especially the clothes and shoes and socks and whatnot. You have to make sure you have clothes on hand if you have to evacuate your home and you are transitions to go somewhere else. You have to leave your home or your apartment of anything, and at least you'll have clothes as a backup. And get an extra suitcase, a little tiny small suitcase for you, your children, to be able to store clothes in. And all you have to do is grab that suitcase and go right out the door into your car and go to the location that they're sending you for an emergency location to go to. Okay, number 7, a first aid kit. It is so important to have a first aid kit. As you can see, I have 2 first aid kits, but these are the little first aid kits that I got from the 99-cent store. You can get little first aid kits, but what I would recommend is the bigger first aid kits. They sell them at Walmart. Invest in a first aid kit, because any kind of thing can happen. If somebody gets hurt or anything in a disaster, you want to have a first aid kit on hand. and that's very important to have a first aid kit. I have one in my trunk. I keep it in my car, and I'm going to have to update it and get another first aid kit because it's old. But always update your first aid kit. Look what's inside, what you need to buy, and add it to your first aid kit. But I have a bigger first aid kit, and I always use that. So it's so important during a disaster, use a first aid kit, and you must have that during any type of emergency disaster. Number 8, cell phone. Make sure you have your cell phone fully charged, on hand, fully charged. Your cell phone is your lifeline. It's very important to have a cell phone on you. You might not have a cell phone, and that's okay. There's other people that do have cell phones, but you need to have a cell phone. It is so important to have a cell phone. If anything happens, if a power outage happens, if you have to go on YouTube to watch the news of what's happening, what's going on, your cell phone is a good source to have. So that is very important. It's a cell phone. Make sure you have a cell phone on hand during an emergency disaster. Number 9 would be a battery power bank. I've actually mentioned that, I think, in the first or the fourth mention was for electronics, but a power bank would be the battery power banks, those chargeable power banks to charge your phone, to charge other items, or charge other devices, is a power bank. And make sure you get a very good power bank. There's one that I do have. I should have brought it out so I can show everybody, but I do have that one in my last video for my travel video, what I would take to travel to Disney World. You will see that one in my other video, or I can link it in the description below the video, but you can also go back to my travel video for Disney World and you will see the battery power bank that I have. Is pretty big, and I would recommend that one. It's not too expensive. It's in the $20 range, I would think. I think so, but it's very heavy and heavyweight, and it's huge and long. But I think you guys would know which one I'm talking about. But when you see my last video for what I would travel with to Disney World, you'll see which one I'm talking about. But I would recommend that battery power bank. And the last one is number 10, cash on hand. You want to make sure that you have cash. I know credit cards, are handy, but you also want to make sure you have cash, because you never know if there is a power outage. You can't get to no ATM or bank. They might be shut down or anything like that. The power can be out and the banks are all shut down, especially their machines. They can be shut down. You want to have cash on hand. I would say you want to have, maybe $200 to $500 in cash for any type of emergency. If you have to drive somewhere or evacuate, you want to have cash. Credit cards are not going to get you much, but at least have $200 to $500 or $500 to $1,000 in cash, and make sure you stash it on yourself. It's very important to have cash on hand. But like I said, in any type of disaster or emergency, you want to have all these necessary things with you, and I'm going to show some of these items that I think is so important to have during an emergency disaster. The first thing that I did already mention is canned goods. You need to have water, a flashlight. I'm going to get a bigger flashlight. This is a LED flashlight, but you got to have a flashlight. I would recommend about 2 to 3 flashlights in your home. Batteries, let me get this one. This might fall out. I don't know. Get some batteries. You want to get batteries that come in a pack of batteries. You want to get AA batteries, AAA, AA, C, and D batteries. You gotta have batteries. Another thing, especially during the disaster we have right now with the COVID-19 virus, is a head thermometer. You want to have a head thermometer. I actually got this off of eBay, and it's a head thermometer for temperature readings. So you want to have that on hand too. If an emergency disaster happens and your child has a cold or fever, you want to have this on hand, is a thermometer. Another thing is if you do have a power outage, have candles. Make sure you have candles, guys. It's so important to have candles I have candles here. If your lights go out and the power goes out, you want to make sure you have candles. And I would invest in one of these. Get one of these things, guys. The clickers. These clickers are very awesome, cool. You don't have to worry about no matches. You have to do like this with the match. These clickers are amazing, and it will save you some time instead of having to with the match. So always invest in one of these clickers. I'm going to have to get a few. I'm going to purchase a few more of these, and I'm going to be purchasing a few more candles at the 99-cent store when I go to the 99-cent store. And another thing you guys want to have is cold and fever medicine. I actually have cold and fever medicine. These, I think these are good for about a year. Let's see the expiration date. Yeah, for this one, it is expiration date November 2021. So these type of medicines here are good for a year. So this is the cold and flu liquid medicine, and this is the daytime medicine. So you want to get both, daytime and cold and flu, for daytime and nighttime. But for an emergency thing, a disaster, if you are feeling sick or anything like that, you want to make sure you have medicine on hand as well. If any type of emergency disaster arises and you have to evacuate your home, you have to make sure you have medicine. That's very important, especially people that have asthmatic. You have to make sure you have medication on hand, and that's very important too. On that note, I just want to say, with the disaster that we are going through right now with the COVID-19 virus, it seems to be getting worse than getting better. I just have to say, over time, hopefully in a couple of months, over time, it doesn't get worse and it will get better. We just have to make sure we have faith in a good energy, a good vibe that we are all going to be okay. And we have to make sure that for something like this, we have to make sure that we prepare ourselves better, because we were not prepared for this. It's very sad to see the entire world going through pandemonium, panic, scared, and that's okay to be in those type of conditions. But when you're unprepared and not ready for any type of disaster like this, because this is a disaster, this is a major disaster where people are actually dying, and that's really bad. And I hate to see people like that getting sick and dying and missing loved ones, and people have to be quarantined in their homes and in hospital. People are in hospital beds, and it's a disaster I have never witnessed before in my life of living in this world in general. But this video topic on making sure what we need to do for the next time is to prepare ourselves. We gotta be ready for anything, guys. I know it seems like a lot of information or less information. I probably could have added more. But if you have any questions, you want to comment and say, oh, you forgot to mention this in the video, you forgot to mention that in the video, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know what else should have been added on to this video if I missed anything. But all in all, take care of yourself. Be prepared for any type of disaster that will arise. Make sure you have supplies, the important necessities that you have to have, and make sure you have a big emergency kit. A big emergency kit for any type of earthquake, tornado, because we did have an earthquake out here, and I didn't think we had earthquakes in Nevada, but stuff like that. You don't know. We don't know what's to come. We make sure that if we're prepared and we good, we have to make sure we have some kind of emergency kit like this that you see in front of me. You gotta have an emergency kit. Get one of those coolers with a pull handle, and all you have to do is drag that sucker right out the door and throw it in your car and go. At least you'll be ready and you'll have everything you need if you have to evacuate your facility, your house, your home, and you have to evacuate. Please, I just hope everybody understands the video and you guys will know what you have to have in the next type of disaster, because we've had disasters like this before, but we forgot about certain things that an emergency that we have to have. But now with this new type of disaster we have right now with the COVID-19, we have to make sure we prepare ourselves a little better than what we did. And I think we have all learned what we need to do next time when we have to deal with a disaster such as this. Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in to my channel, watching this video. And I just hope it was a learning tool for you guys and knowing what to do for the next time we have a major disaster than what we have right now, is to know how to prepare yourself, know how to get ready for anything. At least if you put a big, huge emergency kit together, you'll be ready, you'll know what to do. You don't have to worry about any food, no canned goods, no nothing, no anything. And always, I forgot to mention, update your emergency kit. Update it yearly. Take out the old canned goods, put in some new yearly canned goods. And you gotta update it yearly, periodically. For those people who do live in houses, neighborhood homes, you know, do your collection. Stock your shelves, stock your stuff with canned goods, paper towels, toiletries, any type of emergency water. You got to have your water. Be prepared and be ready, guys. Be prepared and be ready for any type of disaster, because this might not be just this disaster right like we have right now. It might be something else that we might have to face in a challenge. We faced a lot of stuff over the entire years that we have lived on this planet. It can get even worse. But this video will hopefully get you guys going and thinking about what we need to do next time to prepare for an emergency. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this channel. I appreciate all your love and support. If you guys like this channel, please give it a big thumbs up. Hit that bell notification for more videos to come and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. Thank you guys. God bless. Be safe. And wash those hands 20 seconds. Wash those hands. Very important that you wash your hands. I love everybody. I love you guys. Thanks for watching the channel and supporting me. Bye.